Not excited. This isn't a good thing for us. We're going to miss Brandon in a lot of ways. To me, he did a great job here. It's the most wins in baseball the last couple of years. It's a manager of the year. So to get to this point where a change is made, it's not something that any of us wanted by any means.
Have you been told that you're the interim manager for the rest of the season?
Yes, interim tag.
Did you address the team at all this morning after the news came out? And if you did, what was your message to them?
When the news came out, Mike went in and he gave a quick message, just reinforcing belief in the guys. And for me, I think there's going to be a message on a later date. I did address the team, but it was more just, let's get ready to play and win the game today. I think as I get in the seat and things slow down, my thoughts, along with the collective thoughts of the rest of the staff, will probably convey another message. What that is right now, I have no idea.
Were you surprised when you found out?
Yeah. You don't see yourself in this position. I'm not a guy. I'm not a former ex-major league player. I'm a bad minor league player is what I was. I'm a guy that I haven't sat in the manager's seat in 6 years. I did it in AAA in 2019, but it's been a while since I've done it. So I don't think you see yourself doing this. I thought maybe, 10 years down the road, if I was able to hang in this thing a little bit longer, maybe you get consideration for a spot like this, but it's certainly not something that you're looking to do right now.
In regards to the game that was played, obviously it was a difficult outing for Kyle Gibson. What did you see from him, and how difficult was it to, just given all the emotion of the day that the team went through, to kind of be in a hole that early?
Sure, emotion's a real thing, and it's human beings out there. I mean, this is a tough thing. I promise you this, Gibby wanted to go out there and do the complete opposite. It just didn't work out today. It's a guy that we signed late in spring training. He had a quick ramp up. I know we haven't seen the best of him yet. Unfortunately, it kind of came to a head a little bit today in the first inning. It's not a look that he wanted or any of us looked or wanted, but it's a guy that he's earned some stripes in the big leagues for a long time, and it's a guy that we have a lot of faith in and a lot of trust in. And there's a lot of empathy watching him go through that and watching his teammates go through it with him.
Do you believe this team could end the season out?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, we got to get to 500. I think as you start thinking, and my mind's turning today, what do we need to do? I think our goal right now has to be to get to 500. We played a couple years ago at a 40-game 40 games over 500 pace, right? I think it was 101 wins, something like that. I mean, if you can get back to some semblance of that, you can get back in the hunt. The reality is one of those wild card spots is probably not going to be 95 wins. It's probably going to be less than that. So I think, short-term goal for the team, we have to frame it as get back to 500. I think we got a couple months to do that. Maybe you get hot. Maybe we get healthy and we get hot and we get more luck. I think you guys saw some of our luck on display here at the end of the game today, those last couple innings. But I think if the ball rolls our way a little bit, I think it's reasonable to get back to 500. And if you do that, you get a little momentum in this game, who knows what we can do.
Does it encourage you that the at-bats at the end of the game, you have Homer obviously from Jackson, you have Orioles from the bench. I mean, is that an encouraging aspect, the fact that you saw a fight from the team was a big deficit?
Yeah, and I don't think we haven't seen that. Under Brandon's leadership, I mean, they fought for him. They had a lot of respect for him. They won a lot of games with him, myself included. So it was just a continuation of I think what they've been doing here recently. You just had a little more balls go through the hole than probably what we've seen here.
Do you think a move like this, firing a manager this early in the season, can give a club a jolt?
I've never been through it, so that's a hard thing to ask. I mean, you can probably ask the players, and they'll probably have a similar answer. But I promise you, there's been plenty of jolts here within the walls of that clubhouse over the last few weeks.
You spent a lot of time with the players on the field before the game. Did you sense any difference in them processing this as they were preparing for their work today?
These guys haven't been through this before. Again, it's a lot of young men. There's a handful of 35, 36-year-old, 40-year-olds even out there, but most of these guys are in their early 20s. I mean, this is not something that they're accustomed to go through, so there's some emotions. They're trying to figure out how to handle themselves going through this today. But by and large, despite the circumstance, they kind of got back to business today. I think most of you guys were out there and watched them work on the field. And under Brandon's leadership, these guys were out working their butt off every single day. It's not new. It's just what we've done, and we'll continue to do it.
Could you speak to these young guys' ability to overcome situations? I know obviously the situation for them is new.
Sure.
It's something that hasn't happened, but could you speak to their resilience as to what you've seen in your relationship with them prior?
This is unique. I don't think that you can draw a line between A and B on this one. This is a unique thing. What I do know is today they went out and they competed, as they have here in the last week. So that's probably a better question for those guys. But that whole room is confident in their compete and their attitude and their work ethic and their process and their drive. That hasn't changed one bit, whether it was coming out of spring training, going through the last few weeks of what this has been, or today.
You mentioned wanting to get back to 500. How do you view your role as interim manager in getting to that, back to that, and how you're approaching to that?
Just try to create consistency, man. I think we as a staff have to continue to do what we've done here over the last few weeks and just continue to be consistent. Listen, luck isn't the story, but it's part of the story. Injuries isn't the story, but it's part of the story. I think in due time you'll see both those tides turn for us a little bit, but we have to be consistent. We can't overreact. There's a lot of time left. There's a ton of urgency. I'm not saying there hasn't been or it's unique to have urgency at this point, but there has been a ton of urgency. There'll be a ton of urgency going forward, and we'll continue to push as hard as we can.